step forward if you agree with the prompt. It's normal for straight women to feel some attraction towards women.
Yeah, I think that is completely normal. Women are attractive. We are cute. We are hot.
You are meant to be attractive.
Yes, we're attracted to each other.
I've actually been on maybe like 2 dates with women because women are attractive and they're beautiful people.
My feeling has always been that it's because I've had a past relationship with a man that was significant. Folks have said, well, you should identify as bisexual, right? And I'm like, interesting, you know, because ultimately to me, calling yourself a label is not so much a labeling as it is an identifying, and it's like you end up choosing. And so you can stop where you want, right? Like, I think there's the journey, and then for me it was like, no, I stopped at lesbian and I'm staying here, so that's the word that I'm using.
I do have a follow-up question. Have you thought about women while masturbating?
Yes. Again, women are sexy. Even for me, and I'm a straight woman, I don't always
Really?
like straight. Can I say the P word on here? Porn. I don't necessarily like straight porn.
Don't they say like statistically that women in general, straight or not, watch gay porn because you're looking at the woman having pleasure, and that's
it's that pleasure sensation that we're looking for that I don't always get when I'm watching men and women.
That actually makes sense because I was a late bloomer and I found out what porn was when I was 17.
That's crazy, Jeff. That's at 17, bro. That's not even a late bloomer, man. You're just under. Bro. Would you even classify that as a fucking as a late bloomer, man? I think we just living under the rock, man. There's no way you scared of it or some shit like what?
When I saw it, I was like, oh, sex is for the man, because that's kind of how it looked. It's for the man, it's for the man to feel good. It never like clicked to me like, oh, you're supposed to also feel something. So I understand what you say when you mean that.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Hi, my name's Sarah, and I'm a straight woman.
Hello,
Physically,
Sarah.
I've had attraction towards women. I had a crush on a girl, but that was it really, just the crush. Other than that, I haven't really thought about getting intimate with women sexually or romantically.
Why?
Girly girl and tomboy are problematic terms.
Why? Why is that problematic?
Personally, elementary school, I was the only girl at boys' birthday parties. Every time, because a lot of my friends were boys, and I was just told, oh, Claire's just a tomboy. I mean, I was a dress-wearing girl. I had bike ramps in my front yard. I wanted to do all that stuff.
You were?
Like, she's a tomboy. And that kind of fuzzied my queerness for me. And growing up, I was very hyper femme. I got Easter dresses and wore them year-round, those big, like, tulle Easter dresses.
I did that too.
The best. But I was then looked at as a girly girl. So it's like, she can't be gay if she looks this way.
Well, I think it's hard when you tell someone what they are.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I'm like, that could be problematic, because like you said, it fuzzied it for you. And that's why I think it could be problematic, because you can't put someone in a certain place. They have to do it themselves.
I think if you're self-labeling, it's fine, but like putting someone else
Agreed.
into it, not great. Hi, my name's Claire. I'm 23 years old, and I am team lesbian. Compulsive heteronormative.
I don't see the problem in calling someone a tomboy. But like they said, labeling yourself, just saying like you're only a tomboy. I don't know how that fuzzied her queerness. I don't know what that means, but because if you actually knew who you were, off rip, then I don't know how that would have fuzzied your queerness. Maybe it fuzzied her in a way like she didn't know where she fit in. And she said sometimes she got called a girly girl and sometimes she got called a tomboy, so she didn't really know where she was placed. I get that side.
Activity is definitely a problem. It's when you grow up being assumed as straight. That definitely happened for me. I grew
I mean, majority of the population is straight, so you're gonna assume, aren't you? Now, like, come on, don't be like. Of course, you're gonna assume predominantly most people are straight, so you're gonna say, oh, like, fuck me, man. Why is she pressed?
A lot more queer role models in all our communities.
So I think there's a split here to be made between being womanly and being feminine, right? Like I feel womanly, but I'm masculine in terms of my presentation. And I also I'm gonna say this, being feminine has emotional qualities and being masculine has emotional qualities.
Yeah, the expectation is I must be submissive. I must be the one because I am female by default. I'm the submissive one. I am very dominant. I'm dominant in the way that I present myself and when I'm in a room. And so men,
Where'd you get that
especially, they're the ones who will suggest. I'm a black woman and I'm a dominant black woman. So I must be gay. I must be a lesbian. I must be a lesbian.
I mean, they're not wrong.
That though, like what?
Why
does
do you
everyone
think,
always
bro?
Say, like, oh, you look like a lesbian. What is that? What
Do you
does
think
a lesbian?
do you think a man wants to be dominated by a woman? Not like, I'm not trying to like sound it as like a bad thing, but like we have grown up in a society where men, quote unquote, dominate. So that's why they look at you as like, oh, she must be gay, because they're not used to that shit.
You look like. There is no look. It's just what you are and who you are. I mean, my mom, when I came out, my mom was like, okay, well, you're a lesbian, so why do you date women that like to dress like men? Okay, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they want to wear. That's what they want to wear. Okay, great.
So I was gonna ask.
Yeah, why do you? Why don't you date like the feminine thing? Like, I generally don't think that they date feminine on feminine. It just the dynamic does not work.
Like, do you feel girly girl or tomboy?
I present like in a more feminine way, but I feel like internally, I don't know if I'm masculine, but I feel like I embody a lot of like male traits where I'm like, I think with logic and I'm like strong and don't really like say how I feel, but like externally I'm feminine. But also it does like pose difficulty when I'm out like wanting to look at girls. A lot of time like I'm making eye contact and they're like, why is this girl looking at me?
The way the patriarchy functions is that it's like divide women and conquer women. Divide and conquer, right? We're supposed to fight with each other. We're supposed to compete over men specifically. Like,
Yeah,
I don't,
sometimes I feel like I always want to believe the best in women, but I feel like we've all had that thing where we're like, why is that girl staring at me? Did she not like me? Like, is she not
Yeah,
like
I can't lie, yeah, bro, women hate each other. I remember seeing that somewhere, man. All women secretly hate each other. Like they just despise. Just say a girl's looking better than another girl in a room. I don't even know the girl. Automatically despise her because she got eyelashes done, or her nails are looking a lot nicer than mine. Ratata. She already despises her. Men don't look at other men like that. Men will look at they may look at chains and shit. They may look at what he's wearing and say he doing his thing. We don't hate on him. Like, why do women have to hate on each other? It doesn't make.
What's going on? Maybe she just likes me. Maybe she thinks I'm cute, and I'll think that next time. Maybe I'm like, hi, I'm Dia, and I'm straight. Whenever I saw Waka Flocka Flame for the first time, I knew that was my lane.
That's the guy that don't speak
right.
right.
Where I was trying to see if I was interested in girls, but then it usually always led back to men.
I have been confused by my sexual orientation.
Everyone.
I think like there was a time in my life where I was like, oh, boys are great. And then I got hurt, like a real hurt, where I was just like, man,
So you wanted to
need a
change.
break. And so then I was kind of like, well, where do I go next? And so, I went on my dates, as I told you. And I just haven't found a woman that, makes me go,
I mean, personally, like I'm still confused every day, and I think sexuality is so fluid. Like you can always be changing how you feel, and it's also like this attachment to still holding on hope that maybe I'll like a guy, or maybe like I could feel something with a guy. And even like identifying on like the lesbian side was hard for me because I still hold on to that label of being bisexual because I've dated men and because I still know I can like make myself in a way like men. So it's like, do I like men because I like men or because I've grown up thinking
That's
I should?
because they gave us that dream that you're supposed to find that Prince Charming and you're supposed to fall in love and have these kids and it's supposed to be like this thing. So
in my life, I had this plan out, like I'm gonna get married to a surfer guy. We're gonna have all these.
I mean, it
cute
was that
kids,
easy,
and
like-
it's gonna be great.
It was literally what she said. It was like that maybe like 50 years ago. No, not 50, like 30 years ago. In the 1990s, yeah. Around that time. As soon as it turned 2000, fam, yeah, all that shit gone out the window, man. All of it. It's a lot harder.
And I went on a date. It was my first date with a boy in high school. And I was like, he's gonna hold my hand at the movie theater. Oh my gosh, it's gonna happen. And he touched me and I did this. And my body knew before my head knew. Queer was not used that often, middle school, high school. The derogatory term was gay. That's gay, she's gay, that meant lame.
What's the
So for me,
difference?
I'm like, I'm not gay, I don't think I'm lame. So fell under queer, gay, lesbian,
What
as
is
I got
queer?
comfortable and
Is that
deconstructed
like-
labels myself.
I think that family does play a huge role. I was married to a man for 6 years. It was a little bit hard for me to actually
What?
have the courage to come out.
6 is
because
crazy.
I do
And
come
you had
from
no
a
children?
very strict Latina household. I tried to force myself into, being in a heterosexual relationship for the sake of my family, for the sake of the what if it doesn't work out with a woman, or me being scared and terrified. So I think that confusion is a very normal thing in everyone.
I would say the most confusing element of things for me was literally the sexual aspect of my sexual orientation, because I was in a relationship with a man for like 7 years, and I learned over time that like the dynamic
God,
that
that poor
we
man.
had when
I mean, that brother's dick was that bad. It turned her lesbian.
we had sex was the dynamic that I wanted.
Bro, I can't lie. Yeah, she's literally exposing him. He's like he sucked at sex. That's what she's saying. She's saying he sucks at sex. So I was like, fuck it, yeah. But I'm just gonna go to girls.
But I didn't want to be the me in it. Then I slowly started to identify as a butch. I remember someone saying this, and I don't know who
A
it
butch?
was, but somebody looked at me
A
and
butch?
said, butch women couldn't get a man, so they're trying to be one. It was like a double failure. My
I mean,
name is Rachel, and I'm on the lesbian side. Heteronormativity in the sense of a
Heteronormativity?
set of norms that
What the
disciplines
fuck,
people
man? All
and
these
subjugates them
words I've never heard
is
of.
certainly
Like,
a problem, especially in the way that it impacts people who are
heteronormati-
supposed to have a man, or, as they say about butch women, try to be one. That's not to say that heterosexuality is a problem. It's not crazy for people to be heterosexual, just like it's not crazy that gay feeling and sexuality is also natural.
In my experience, I've only been with men sexually and on dates, so I just haven't had that experience myself. But if I were to, at any point, have those experiences with women, I wouldn't put a label in it.
The reason why I disagreed about being conflicted, there's some things I don't ever explain to other people. This is one of them. I don't explain to you who I take home. I don't explain to you what I do in my room. I don't explain any of that. I like women. I've been on dates with women. I've done what I do with women and men, but I'm not going to label myself just so somebody else can put me in a category. I just always wanted to know this. Why is it so important that you are identified correctly? And the need to come out,
Yep.
the need to say, I am this, I am that.
Personally, I saw just the straight side of life. And I wasn't feeling the same way my friends were, and like when you get middle school, high school, college, I felt wrong. I was gonna disappoint my family. I was gonna be looked at my whole life as something less than. And if labels are not important to you, I think it's a personal thing. But for me, finding people that were saying like, this is why I feel this way, I'm like, I felt that way too.
When you said, well, why is it such a big deal to come out of the closet? Like, imagine being in a closet. It's dark. it's lonely, like you don't have anyone to express your feelings to. And I also think representation is so important.
Yes.
Like personally, I grew up with a mom and a dad, then my parents split up, and now my mom is married to a woman. And they were actually the first Black same-sex couple to be on the cover of Essence magazine. Wow. So I just feel like, I know, right? Representation is so important.
What if there were no labels? What would that look like?
There would be no community. There would be no, I feel like if there were no labels, it's sad to say, but I feel like a lot of people would be in the closet, would be in the dark. Hi, my name is Amy, and I am a lesbian.
It's too many labels
I did
though,
hide
man.
myself for a very long time just because I do come from a very strict household. I did endure,
It's gonna be a
actually
dictionary.
being
It's
in
gonna be
that
like
hetero
a whole
relationship and
encyclopedia
actually
on fucking
experiencing it firsthand.
every sexuality,
It took me
man.
like
It's
a
gonna
whole
be
year
like
of me basically
tens of
ignoring
thousands of
him
them.
for me to finally realize like I can't be doing this. Like this is not who I am.
Cis-queer,
This is not what I want
cisgender.
for the rest of my life.
I believe traditional gender roles are important.
They're important to a degree. You know, if a man were
That's
to
not the
date a
question.
woman and they were to get married, you would expect the man to provide and the woman to, well, stay home or work and just raise the
What the
children.
fuck, boy?
If we didn't have
She's
those-
not being codependent on me. I
then,
don't care.
Well,
Like-
how would the world work?
The reason I said that I agree is because the word role is that word for a reason. A role is a performance. So it's not, we don't need to naturalize it. We don't need to say women are this one and men are this one, or whatever your body is means your destiny is this. I just think that as social performances and ways of organizing our lives,
Okay.
we're not ever gonna really get rid of the masculine, feminine thing. So I think acknowledging it so that we can think critically about it
Masculine,
is
masculine.
what
That's crazy.
matters.
I believe we're in a space where we're starting to like tear down things that
Hey, these skellies keep on calling. They got no teeth. XP, let me see.
Minecraft 1.3.
Oh, for them.
That's a waste of space. A planet of human trees.
Yeah.
And shit might go sword. What's done breaking 3? Yeah, you know these pigs. Storm in a chest.
we're not
Maybe a
entirely
pretty garden.
understanding
You
or
know
appreciating why it was built. We have to appreciate that we have to have some type of structure. Now, does that structure mean that because I'm born with a certain genitalia, this is the role I'm destined to be in? I don't know. It depends on which society you belong to. I don't want to do everything. I don't. That's why gender roles are important too. You're designating, this is what you do, this is what I do. I think that's okay. I am Marsha and I am straight. I think a lot of the decisions that we make come from pre-programming. For one, I'm Jamaican born. In Jamaica, being homosexual is a no. We don't do that.
That shit
There
is.
was only one way.
Because the party boy.
So part of my decision is definitely my upbringing, but it's also from my experiences and realizing this is my fit. This works better for me.
Me and my girlfriend, we don't perform gender roles at all.
Oh.
Like we care for each other equally, and it's definitely a bit different, I think.
Do y'all live together?
No.
That makes a difference. too.
But for the past 3 weeks, we've been living together though, so.
That may shift the longer you live together.
I mean, I don't see why like certain households.
Here we go, Chad. This is what I was asking. This is what I was asking if too feminine or too alpha, whatever the fuck you want to call feminine, masculine, sorry. If too feminine and too masculine, what's it called, can actually date and not assume, and one not be feminine and one not be masculine. Like there's two of each. I wonder if they can actually if that shit will work out. Because I feel like there's never going to be a balance there. If they're always on a common ground. Because one has to be the head of the house, what you call it. Like it's just how it's just how the society is, isn't it?
household responsibilities should be defined by gender, especially because like I grew up with 2 moms, so I never was like, oh, like this is like my mom and my dad, like this is my mom and my mom, and both my parents worked. They like threw my ass in daycare, and it was just like, in a way, I guess I had 2 dads, if you want to like put it in that way. But like, I think it's like about a balance of like sharing responsibility, you know?
Well, but does saying that the gender roles are important mean that we're saying that they should be employed? Because I'm not saying that they should be forced on anybody. Yeah. It's just whether and how much you want to like take it on.
They should not be forced on everybody. When you were talking about doing the dishes and whatnot, my ex-husband was the person who stayed at home. I was the one who was at work. He was the one that was doing the dishes and cooking.
That nigga was submissive to you. What
would be a better place without men.
That is true of my. Wait, what was it?
Well, I was just
oh, here we go.
Like,
the
world would.
What? The world would be a better place without men. No one should even step forward. I'm sorry. I don't care. No one should even step forward for this.
Be a better place.
It's just no. That's crazy. She stepped forward quick as well, man.
Well, I was just like thinking historically, like men have been the one that have caused wars.
Men have majority of men have created pretty much everything. Like,
and
where you
created a place where
you're going. You're like, no.
Women didn't have the same respect or capacity to be heard and seen.
She's crazy for this one. She's crazy for this one.
For me personally, I think a lot of the times men don't understand that I could be a woman that doesn't want to end up with a man, that they want to like change me, or a man and woman is like the only right way. Hi.
So she didn't really answer the question, like, will it be a better place without?
My name is Jamie and I am on the lesbian side. I think it just comes down to that I know I'm capable of being with men and I find them attractive and like I could see myself being with them sexually, but like romantically, I don't think I could ever really connect to a man.
I find that crazy, man. I want to see what they have to say about this.
With power, so to speak, it gets like almost too extreme. Like, you know, look what's happening today with the old white men trying to control abortion or women's bodies. But today, I think we would still need them in the world just to have at least a different perspective.
Yep.
I mean, I really struggled with this question because looking back, the only person in my life who's ever hit me was a femme lesbian. I have had experiences with kind of unwanted sexual advances and things with men, and all of that's been bad too, but like my very worst trauma that is just stuck with me was a woman.
I don't think it'd be better without men, but I do think men need to be a little more educated on things. Even how we're treated in school by boys, like growing up was always,
if they hurt you, they like you. If they yank.
What? I understand certain subjects we need to be educated on, but bro, I'm sorry, women, they need to be educated on the fucking wage gap, man. That's the only thing that's the only point they bring up when it comes to like, where that women and men are treated differently. They're saying, oh, but there's a wage gap. Why do women need to be educated on that? Am I not wrong? Bro, because that's literally the main thing that every woman says, because they hear it by other women that somewhat are trying to educate them, but they're not educated properly. Like, there's no wage gap. Like, if you check this, there's no wage gap. Men work harder jobs. Men work longer hours. Women usually have to take breaks off work because they either have a baby or they just don't want to. Yeah, mainly because they have babies. They produce, they create babies, and they have to take time off work because of that. Women tend to work less hours. Like there's so much things that factor into it, and they say, oh, they get the same job. Sorry, they get the same job, yeah, and they make more money. It's because they work longer hours. That's literally it. And to be honest, women are more likely to get a certain job, like a higher paid job, than men. Men usually have to work a lot harder, and it's a lot easier for women.
On your pigtails.
So I don't think we should like abolish all men, but I do think there needs to be some leveling out.
I think that definitely we're getting there. I feel like because of what men have done in the past, you know, in our history, I feel like that's why they have this superiority over all of the women. But I do think that we are here because
I love how they're not talking about. They say men would be it would be a better place if men weren't here. You wouldn't be here, right? You would not be here if men didn't exist. You would not be speaking right here.
of what we've gone through.
Oh no, not Mormon. I'm hearing that shit's like a cult, bro. I'm hearing Mormons are like